Now to a Fox 35 exclusive, trouble on the tarmac. Yesterday's storms created a lot of chaos at OIA. People arriving from London waited 7 hours before they could get off their plane. That's almost as long as their entire flight across the ocean. Fox 35's Stephanie Buffamonte is joining us live at the airport. And Stephanie, a perfect storm really created this situation.
That is right, Luann. So this whole thing was honestly just a mess. This flight was originally supposed to land in Miami, but because of severe weather there, it was diverted to Orlando. But then they got here and there was lightning in the area, so they couldn't get off of the plane because of that. Now, on top of that, this was an international flight and a double-decker flight. So that means that they need 2 gates and a gate that can accommodate those passengers through customs. All of that is what the airport says caused that more than 7-hour delay on the tarmac.
That I feel like I'm being held hostage on a plane.
After a beautiful trip across the pond, Leslie Schlofeld flew back to Florida, but it was a very ugly trip home. She and hundreds of other passengers stuck on the tarmac at Orlando International Airport for 7.5 hours.
There were people laying on the floors, trying to sleep, kids crying. It was just a nightmare.
Schlofeld is finally home now after getting off the plane late last night. She tells us while stuck on the tarmac in the double-decker British Airways plane, there was no food and was told they didn't have enough water for passengers. Even worse, she says the toilets wouldn't flush for a few hours.
About, be respectful of your flight crew. And I'm thinking, well, let's be respectful of your clients. We are trapped on a plane with no options.
Airport officials say because of severe weather, 39 flights were diverted into MCO on Monday, leaving many planes full of passengers stuck waiting on the tarmac. The Department of Transportation prohibits airlines from allowing domestic flights to sit on the tarmac for more than 3 hours. And for international flights, it's 4 hours. That means passengers must be allowed to get off. But when there's severe weather,
loophole that they can get around that in is when that is due to acts or issues beyond their control, or acts of God is kind of the term that they often use.
John Briot with the National Consumers League says there's not much the passenger can do when it comes to weather, even though laws are in place to prevent delays like this, which is why their organization advocates for more consumer protections and compensation.
The airlines are multi-billion-dollar companies. 4 airlines in the United States control 80% of the flights. And so whenever you have oligopolies or near monopolies, they don't have much incentive to provide the best customer service to consumers when things go wrong.
Organization says the first thing you should do if this happens to you is reach out to the Department of Transportation and tell them what happened. If that airline was in the wrong, they will hold them accountable. They also say reach out to the airline to see if you can get some kind of compensation. We did reach out to British Airways and they told us that they are very sorry about what happened, but that everyone who was on the flight had ground transportation. For example, the woman that we spoke to, they paid for a cab for her to get home. I will say really quick before we go, I just looked at the sign behind me here and we're seeing red on the screen, lots of delays, so we're going to go check that out and we'll bring you an update tonight at 6. Reporting live from the airport, Stephanie Buffamonte, Fox 35 News.